Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 45th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by my fellow Hans Zimmer appreciator, Jaden.
G'day.
G'day. And JC, Jesus Christ the Third. We're going to go with that for now. Liam.
Hey.
Okay, Fitzy. How are you? Do you like Jesus Christ the Third as the thing now? That was a total accident.
It's a good amalgamation, yeah. I like it.
Yeah, of all the nicknames. Maybe there is some way I can incorporate PTA in there as well. I don't know. I'll have to think about that for a little bit longer. Anyways, for those who don't know, this is Cinema Effect, the shit show where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and all the other podcast apps on planet Earth, so please subscribe on all those things. I also wanted to highlight that our YouTube channel has actually been having some steady growth over the past couple of weeks, so we appreciate that. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube, and we'd love to see more of it as we continue forward. Anyways, follow the Instagram page, do all the things, click all the links, hit all the buttons. Much appreciated from you. We will be having this is a special announcement. We'll be doing our very first Instagram poll where you, that's right, you, the listener, can determine our upcoming schedule of films, sort of. You can choose one film a month that we watch, and we're starting that right now. We're going to be announcing the first Instagram poll. The poll will go live on our Instagram stories within a day of this episode going up. So the Monday, Tuesday sort of window there. I don't know how your time zones work, but you can figure it out, I'm sure. Jaden and I will both be, because Instagram apparently has this thing where you can only have 2 different options in a poll. So we would have loved to have all nominated a movie, but Jaden and I are only going to be nominating a movie because
it's chuck it on the Circaz Twitter.
On the Circaz Twitter, dude, that place is so popular these days.
Yeah, I'm always the only like on your things.
I know, it's always very nice of you, unless I get some random Cyberpunk 2077 news page who just likes everything.
Yeah.
I get that sometimes. That happens. But anyway. Jaden, do you want to tell us the film you're nominating for our Instagram poll?
The film I'm nominating is Rush 2013. Chris Hemsworth, Daniel Bruhl, about F1, bit of fun, and
yes,
that's
yes,
yeah,
cool.
And how about you, Finney?
I will be nominating 12 Years a Slave for our Instagram poll. So,
bit of a different direction to mine, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, a bit. I kept getting that Rush movie. I've seen it around, and I sort of get it mixed up with Logan Lucky because they're both about cars, aren't they?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Logan Lucky's about fucking Indy 500 or whatever it is, the one where they go around.
I don't know. It's all cars to me, mate. I got no idea. Anyway, so those are your 2 options. Head over to the Instagram poll. It's only up for 24 hours, so it's super exclusive. Super special. All that nonsense. So check it out in the next day or so, see it there, and place your vote, and that's what we'll do in a fortnight. Our question of the show will be this week, do you like watching movies alone or with other people? This sounds like it could be a bit of a rabbit hole of depression, There was some potential there in the question, but take it how you will. Let us know in the comments, and we'll read your answers out at the end of next week's episode, as always. This week, we're reviewing War of the Worlds, the 2005 remake of this particular source material. This film opened in the US on the 29th of June 2005. It was directed by Steven Spielberg, friend of the show now. Congratulations, Steven.
Indeed.
And not only a friend of the show, but funnily enough, we reviewed Munich 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. And these are the films he made one after the other, back to back, in 2005. So.
Oh yeah, the same year.
Funny coincidence. Funny coincidence. The genre is, I wrote down Spielberg sci-fi. I think we all sort of understand what that is. It's an adventure film. Yeah. You're getting E.T., you're getting your, Spielberg. He does his thing. And the synopsis reads, an updated version of H.G. Wells' seminal sci-fi classic about I copy pasted this verbatim. This is a spelling error. I'm not a fan of this. About an alien invasion threatening the future of humanity. The catastrophic nightmare is depicted through the eyes of one American family fighting for survival. We decided to do this one because Jaden has expressed his distaste for this movie in the past, to say the least. But you had also seen it, Fitzy, is that correct?
I only saw it recently.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I've seen parts of it as, on TV and stuff before, but I only fully watched it just a couple months ago or something.
Cool. Okay. Well, we'll start with you then, I guess, before we get to the to the fun stuff.
I think the first half is really great. I think it slows down momentum as soon as we get to the Tim Robbins stuff, and the second half is pretty weakens the film a bit. But I do think the first half is really effective in parts. I mean, I think the terror of the film is actually pretty good, and the lighting of the film, and I don't know, Dakota Fanning's scream and all of that is really great. But I think it's a mixed bag overall because of the second half.
Sure. I'll go next. I thought the movie wasn't very good. I'm coming at this from the perspective of someone that has no connection with the source material whatsoever. I other than just knowing about War of the Worlds and that it's a thing, I didn't really understand what it was except an alien invasion. I guess the tripods are the aliens across the books and all different versions of this. I had never even heard of them, didn't know what they were. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that it's poorly executed in a lot of places, and it sort of transitions into a boring, pointless climax that left me sort of deflated and going, okay, well, that was a movie I watched. That's sort of just how I felt about it. I didn't think it was garbage, but I didn't particularly have a lot of nice things to say about it. I don't think. But Jaden, what about you? Are you going to be unleashed here?
Not really. I mean, watching it this time, I think I had similar feelings to you, where it is just a dull affair. It's not garbage, but it is just dull. But then I think where I kind of bring it down a bit more is because I have experienced other versions with the novel and then the radio play and then the 1953 one and then Jeff Wayne's musical version and this one just doesn't compare at all. It doesn't instill the feel of the original. It's not as stylistically cool or joyful as the 1953 one, and it's not as sinister. And it's not as an original idea as the radio play or the musical version. So it's just another adaptation. And I get Steven Spielberg wanted to make a contemporary version of it, and he wanted to introduce new themes of the post 9/11 anxiety and whatever the fuck like that. But because of that, and he chooses to ignore other things that are prevalent in the other ones, like religion and God, the ending feels like a cop out, and it just really, it really destroys what comes before it. So I mean, it's not horrid, but it's bad for me.
Sure. Well, I mean, the fact that you're mentioning other versions of this actually have themes, is sort of interesting to me. I didn't take any underlying, themes or under. What am I trying to say? Themes away from this movie. It just sort of ended, and they did the thing, and the aliens died, and sick.
Well, because Wells originally wrote the novel. It was it's invasion literature. He based the novel on the British invasion of Australia, right? And about the total annihilation, and that was the core of the original. When this technologically advanced, part clashes with a less advanced one, and that's the core of it, and that's pretty much eliminated in Spielberg's version, right? Because he's trying to touch more on this fear and anxiety and paranoia of this post-terrorism world or whatever. And while it's not as prevalent in the novel, but it is in the 1953 version, religion is a part of it. And once again, because he abandons that, it's
Do you, in other versions, we spend more time with the aliens, or have at least not time with them necessarily, but an understanding of what they are. Because here they got their big tripod machines, and then one that I don't know, they're there a bit, Like I didn't have any sort of sense of like that idea of it being based on the invasion of Australia is really interesting. I didn't get that at all from this movie. I didn't really get a sense that the aliens were some sort of amazing, other than the fact they've got crazy weapons. But like, they're I don't know. I didn't get the sense that they're so scientifically advanced or something that's beyond us.
No, like in the 53 version, there is a bit more of an exploration of them, because there is some stuff where like they get in contact and like like in the basement scene in this one where they see the aliens, there's a bit more interaction in regards to that in the 53 version. So you do learn a bit more about them, but there's never really a whole lot of information about them apart from that they've been watching us, and then this is an annihilation, is not an occupation.
Yeah, sure. And does the story follow the same sort of structure? Like, does it end the same way with them sort of just dying?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, in other versions, because the narration goes, it's as if it was placed there by God intentionally or something like that. That the bacteria that kills them, and because of the previous religious themes and that, it doesn't feel like so much of a cop out as it does in this version.
Right. Hearing Morgan Freeman's voice was like a what moment for me. Like, what was that? Because I'm sort of thinking to myself, the whole Morgan Freeman narrating things is sort of a meme, like, and he's doing it in this movie. So that was
but it comes out of nowhere. I mean, he's not even in the movie, so it's funny.
Yeah, he's just this omnipresent voice, and he says like barely anything. So with that in mind, like I was so confused by the ending of this movie. He says, like, he just comes in. I had to rewind it, and I listened to it again. I was still confused. He says about the bacteria which kills the aliens, and then says something to the effect of like the humans deserve Earth or deserve to live, and the movie ends. Like, I didn't get it. I don't know what the hell the movie was getting at.
You're saying like because humans have become like immune to the natural, bacteria or viruses from bacteria on Earth, that we've like inherited the Earth, and because these aliens haven't conquered that they don't deserve it, whatever, I guess.
Right. So it's like it's our home sort of thing, like we ain't okay. Well, that makes sense. It just seems it was just such a random like 20-second bit at the end that I was confused by in the moment, But no, that does make sense at least, yeah. I don't know. My main thing, I guess, with this movie is that it just feels like a TV movie, At least watching it from the modern lens of, it's not nearly as bad as Sharknado, don't get me wrong, but just visually and, a lot of poorly aged CG and really off-putting color grading. Everything's just so grey, and
I thought the CG was like really good in this movie.
Really?
Yeah, like the aliens and yeah.
The aliens look good, but like when like shit's like with the debris and like when like the road's lifting and stuff like that, and like that's the part that looked dodgy to me.
Right. Yeah. No, I do agree. The aliens look good. No, that's fair. I don't want to get confused there for sure. There's just a lot of bad green screen, and there's a lot of bad, like crazy like natural moments, and when the train's on fire, that looks really bad. I don't even. Yeah. So that sort of gave it that's obviously a bit of a different. It's not a super fair critique given its age, but it sort of stood out to me. And then taking that with the fact that the aspect ratio, 16:9 aspect ratio, not a fan, dude. Not a fan. I just can't. Like, when I'm seeing shoddy Ultra King and I'm seeing, CG that stood out to me, unfortunately, and just the crazy explosions that are sort of dull and grey, and yeah, without that cinematic aspect ratio, I'm sort of just felt like, I can see myself just turning this on Channel 9 at 10:30 at night, like this, it felt like that's where this movie belongs, unfortunately, sort of just purely from an execution perspective. And that's not even getting into some of the story things I have to say, but I know that's sort of like just purely superficial, some issues I had with it, but Oh no, do any of those complaints resonate with you, Jan, whatsoever with your list of issues?
Not entirely. Like, I took issue with some of it, with the CGI, like you said, but like, no, my problems really are with the story and the way that it unfolds and shit like that. Not so much with the technical side of it.
Sure. Yeah, I get you. So with that in mind, we got Tom Cruise in this movie, all right? He's Tom Cruise. And, all jokes aside about Tom Cruise being, a protagonist in these action adventure films, right? Like, I actually appreciated that. I felt like I was watching a different, or at least a variation of a Tom Cruise character, like this kind of asshole dick dad. It felt a bit different. It wasn't like, oh, he's an all-American, he's a sick bloke. He just straight up didn't want to get his kids any dinner. That's kind of trash. So, I mean, I appreciate that different, and I feel like he does bring something sort of different to the performance, generally speaking, that I'm used to seeing. So, I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. Like some of the dialogue's kind of weird and awkward between the kids, in my opinion, and yeah. I guess I'm just sort of meh on that. Yeah.
Dialogue between the kids.
Some of the humor between Tom Cruise and his kids is sort of like weirdly placed. Like there's that scene where he's like driving his car, he's like through on the freeway or whatever, and they're having this conversation and they're freaking out, they're yelling at each other, and some oddly placed jokes in there. I don't know.
Isn't he just trying to like put on a brave face in that scene, trying to like line up the mood, but he himself is like scared?
I guess, but I mean, he was sort of doing a shit job at that when he was running in the house and telling them just to pack their things and couldn't take 5 seconds to explain that there's an alien outside,
But do you tell a 10-year-old kid there's an alien that's invading or not?
When they don't hurry the hell up and just do what you say, yes, take the 5 seconds. That's what I would do, But to be fair, of course, I've never personally firsthand witnessed someone be obliterated by an alien cannon, so.
Be worried if you had.
I have some dark secrets, eh? This is my way of transitioning to some of the performance side of things, so I don't know. Have we got anything to say about Tom Cruise or the kids? I thought the older brother dude was Ryan Gosling at first. I had to look it up.
The fuck?
He sort of looked like Ryan Gosling to me, and they're the same age too.
It looks more like Timothy Chalamet, but I don't know.
Oh, you think so? I sort of see that, yeah.
No, I think Tom Cruise is. He plays the scenes where he's actually scared and trying to put on a brave face really well. I thought. Initially, his character isn't that interesting, dickhead character, but that's kind of his role in the film to, learn to be responsible and with his kids and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know, I never really found that evolution super believable. I found him the most interesting at the start. At least just to watch,
Yeah, I liked Dick Tom Cruise. It was fun.
Yeah. Oh, was he still going to start those leaked audio bits of him ranting?
Yeah, from Mission Impossible.
His character in this movie, yeah.
Like it's not an issue with the acting, but it's an issue with the character, and it's Dakota Fanning. Like, she might have been directed to it, but she's such an annoying character with the screams and the it's like it comes back to like, why the fuck would you want to place so much screaming in your film? Like, it just makes it unwatchable, and like they fabricated this character in the original novel. There was never a child. He was never a father. I don't think it was, at least, not that I remember. But like, they've created this character, but the character's too smart for its own good. I mean, they've created this inquisitive 10-year-old girl, but like, I feel like it hinders the film because so many of her moments are just so annoying where she's like, well, like when she has to go piss and then he like stay inside and she's like, no, I'm too smart for that, whatever, I'm going to go fuck off behind a bush. And then she sees the dead body floating in the river and then she like has a panic attack and like, had you listened, you would have been fucking alright, but you're not. And I mean, like, it's just moments like that where like the kid's doing dumb shit. You fabricated his character to at least make him, enhance your story instead of like pulling it back constantly. Like the son wanting to go off and fight the alien. Like, why? I just do not like. That's so stupid. And he's like, let me do it. I need to do this. Like, fuck off. You don't need to do it. It's a fucking alien with a shield. Like, what did you do?
It made no sense. The whole army was charging at this alien. And he's like, I'm going to go and help with nothing.
And as this is occurring, his daughter's getting taken away, which is also pissing me the fuck off because people are just idiots. Like, it's just, there's so many moments with the kids where they just hinder the story and the film, and that's what annoys me because, you create these characters, at least make them useful or at least do something smart with them instead of this dumb shit, and it just annoys me so much.
I totally agree. Every story choice with them is pretty poor. Yeah, the whole that moment of them running up the hill is pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
That is the thing with him doing that is that's one of the things that actually makes the most sense for me in the film, because like in terms of its themes, the effect of terrorism on these people, especially the kid in Tim Robbins' character. Him wanting to get revenge and being angry against the aliens is something that is constantly shown to us in the film, and then when that happens, it's just kind of like an impulsive decision driven by his anger at his rage at the invasion. I mean, that was one of the more emotional scenes in the film, because it's kind of like he's just throwing away his life for something he can't change. But I mean, in a literal sense, I see how it's stupid, but I just don't understand why people take issue with that when it's one of the few parts of the films which actually, which actually makes sense thematically in terms of the post 9/11 themes and stuff like that. So, I mean, I really enjoy that part.
It's dumb as dog shit, that's why. There's a difference between going to fight Al-Qaeda and fighting a big fuck-off alien. I mean, like, it's... Like, yeah, sure, I get your point of it, it being thematically fitting, but it's just... Story-wise, it's just stupid. Like, it's just so stupid. And it impedes so much, and it's just so annoying. That's one thing I can't change. Sorry.
But I don't really see how. I don't really see a difference. I mean...
What's this 16-year-old kid gonna do? Like, I know you're saying it's out of anger, and, it's irrational, but, like, there's gotta, like, there's gotta be an element of rationality in your mind saying, I can't do anything in this situation. Because the army's not going to give him a weapon, and what's he possibly going to do? Just run up and look at it? No, it's stupid.
I appreciate your point, Fitzy, because I didn't even consider that in terms of the terrorism side of things. I hadn't even thought about that in the movie whatsoever. But given the historical context of when this was made, that makes a ton of sense. And at the time, of course, and I arguably still now, having that contemporary interpretation of the original text is cool. My issue with it, sort of more siding with Jada in the moment, is just that it's just so unbelievable. Like I appreciate then what that scene is in terms of what it means, but I need something other than that. I need a choice. I need the character to do something that's reasonable, or for if the character is going to make such an irrational choice to just charge at the alien, I need that to be set up in some way that makes sense.
Yeah, it is set up though. That's the thing. Like him at the road wanting to, go on the fucking the trucks, and his dad saying like, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" Him basically telling him, "You fighting against this force which you can't do anything about, and abandoning your sister is irrational." And he keeps that attitude with him, throughout the entire film until that one moment where he rushes up the hill, which is stupid, but that's the point of it, that it is dumb.
But then if that was the case, then he shouldn't have survived. They shouldn't have shown him at the end.
Yeah, I agree. The second half it weakens the film a lot. But I think in that moment it is really great. And I think like the first time I watched that, I mean that really registered to me. Like, yeah.
No, that is a good point. No, he does do that earlier with the tanks, I guess in my brain it is a different thing context wise, like there's no omnipresent threat right there. There's not an alien killing people right in front of you as opposed to just wanting to join the army in the moment. No, the threat is there.
You asked if it was set up, his desire to join this force, but you can't do anything about it.
But it conflicts. It conflicts with what he was doing prior to that, which was protecting his sister from, an incompetent dad. And the fact that it flips so fast, it's a conflict of the character's interest, Because, up until that point, we're showing him being super protective and, he doesn't trust his dad to look after her. And then all of a sudden he sees the army, he's like, oh, actually, I'm going to fuck off.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I could also say that's part of the point, but I don't know. Maybe it's done too quick or whatever. Maybe that's just personal taste.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure. But it is no. But I do. I think you're totally right, Fitzy. I think your argument's stronger than mine in the sense that, I said, is it set up? Oh, it's not set up. I think you're right. It is set up. I think that's a good point. Then it just comes down to I don't think it's set up well enough. But
Right, yeah.
I think at the end of the day, you probably are more right then.
I mean, I'm just talking about it because it's something that, emotionally reached it to me. So if you guys find it silly, then that's fine. But
yeah, no, totally.
I mean, the thing is, Dakota Fanning's arc of kind of becoming stronger is kind of abandoned, and Tom Cruise doesn't develop that much. And so I mean, you have the kid, and you have Tim Robbins' character, which are kind of the only interesting kind of things that are happening in terms of them wanting revenge, and like thematically they're probably the most interesting things that are happening. Other than that, there's not that much character in the other characters, so him and Tim are the ones that kind of stood out to me.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, well, yeah, I'm with Jane. Like, Dakota Fanning annoyed the shit out of me, but I actually think her performance is pretty good. You know, which is sort of sounds conflicting, but it's true. Like, watch the movie; she's pretty solid with all her line delivery and screen presence and the like. But yeah, it's just please don't scream as much. That's all I ask. And just for kids in movies in general, please don't scream. Don't make your kids scream on set.
Just want to bring up another character error real quick.
Go for it.
At the start of the movie, when she's dropping off the kids, as Dakota Fanning is getting her bags out of the car, she pushes against the door, and the door hits a power pole, and the parents don't immediately go off their shit at a new car getting hit by the power, the door hitting the power pole. I just think that's unrealistic.
I agree 100%. Nah. Yo, that is the best nitpick we've ever had on the show. Like, because just of how small it is a nitpick, like, I guess by definition, but it totally resonates 100%. Before we transition to the second half, where it seems like we agree a bit more on some negative things, like the first half of the film and the opening and stuff, you mentioned that you liked some of the lighting, Fitzy.
Yeah, lighting is great.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just very light colours, like pinks and whites and blues. I think it's just really, I mean, it's just a great looking film in the first half, and even like the when Ray comes out of the basement and it's all the red blood, it's just very pleasing cinematography. I mean,
that's true.
Pretty terrifying, all the blood on the ground shit, but it looks great. I mean, I think the white in the first half is a bit too much at times. Like when Ray's at his house with when the stepfather and mum come over, it's like it's very bright and strange. But like when they have after the boat scene, which I really love, and they're in like the they come out of the water and you see the lights from the alien. It's like a ray. It's like pink, blue, white. It's just very cool.
I think this is another point I disagree on, but I think it might just because I've seen the other one, because the 1953 one is a fucking Technicolor marvel. Like it has like the pink and green and blue hues that you love, but like in tenfold. So then like, when you compare that one to this one, it's, visually it's not as astounding.
Wait, what year did you say?
53.
Okay. I thought it was black and white film.
Having not seen that version, I'm not going to lie, Fitzy's winning me over here. I think some of the earlier stuff in the film and the first scene with Tom Cruise running away from the laser cannons and shit, like there's some bad green screen there. And just generally when they're out on the street, when Tom Cruise is out on the street there early on, the whole thing just looks super washed out to me, and I'm not a fan of that aesthetically whatsoever. So I think that might have put a damper on my experience. But now that you're bringing it up, like I'm definitely overlooking the blood and the light coming out of the ocean. That is cool stuff. I agree. And I like the boat scene a lot too. It's my favorite scene in the movie.
Oh yeah, I think everything leading up to the boat scene as well is really great. Like I think the car scene and all that is really great. And the boat scene, of course. I mean, even the lighting from the boat and like the water is really.
I must say, when he took the revolver from his room or whatever it was, I was like, bro, I don't know if that revolver's going to help you much against the tripods, because it was like a thing, like the film focused on it, like revolver's going to be important. Like, I don't know if that's going to help him much. But then, no, it made a lot more sense how it actually ended up being used. But I agree with everything on the boat scene, because just the way, like, I did like how it was shot generally, and that was such a lively set there, I think. There was so many extras around. You really felt claustrophobic, I think, as everyone's trying to rush to get on the boat, and Tom Cruise like randomly meets this lady he knows, and then she gets screwed. The way they try and leave early, they get on the boat. Everyone sort of hanging on the boat as it's I don't even know what you call it, like the entrance to the boat,
The ramp.
The ramp. I love when only when you record a podcast do you forget the most basic words in the dictionary. Yeah, when the ramp's being raised and everyone's like hanging on, and there's a really cool wide shot of just seeing the chaos and everyone freaking the hell out. I like that a lot. Yeah. It's time for Zach's weird, potentially dumb, almost definitely dumb question of the week. I was quite confused by, we see the tripods kill human beings by they just obliterate. They just get Thanos, someone gets shot and they just cease to exist. But then we see the river of bodies. I was a little bit, what killed these people, What did it? Do they also have other weapons?
Mass suicide.
Yeah, but they also have the thing where they they suck the blood from the humans.
But that doesn't leave the body, does it? Did it?
They take the blood and then they take the bodies and then I don't know. They have a scene where Tom Cruise is looking out and the alien takes the blood from the guy behind the bin or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then also, the people on the thing, the alien sucks it up and get the blood somehow from that.
Okay.
So
okay.
They kill people and they also harvest their blood.
They do. That's an adequate answer. Thank you, Liam. I appreciate it. That helps. The aeroplane crash scene. Well, we didn't actually see the aeroplane crash, but Tom Cruise is chilling in the basement. He comes out in the morning and sees that there's a crashed commercial airplane right there. That's pretty shit. I have a huge issue with the way in which the film chooses to deliver exposition in terms of giving the audience context as to how this event is affecting other places in the world and other cities and things. Because he's hanging around the wreckage. A van pulls up, if memory serves, or maybe they're already there. They're already there. Okay, thank you. And then so these people just dump exposition on us about what the hell's happening, how it's affecting other cities, and then they just leave. And I was like, thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate you. It was like my guardian angel. I feel like they just paused the movie and it was like, that Amazon X-ray feature. They just did that for me in the movie. It was not great in my opinion, not great. And then when we get scenes where they're sort of all just walking places, there's a few scenes where Tom Cruise and his fam are just walking places with a bunch of people around, and you just always it just focuses on the people talking. Like, I don't know, I heard that in Europe that it's pretty crazy over there, right? Yeah, there's so many people I don't know. There's some clunky dialogue there where I feel like I don't know if I needed that in the movie, to be honest. I actually think it would have been cooler if we got no exposition for the rest of the world, just because I know there's something about the premise of this movie that sort of, you feel the need to explain the mass implications of this invasion. But I feel like it would have been cooler just not knowing, is the rest of the world totally annihilated right now, or is there still hope? It's kind of leaving it on a note like that.
Well, we don't know because in that scene, that there's a guy saying Europe is annihilated, but then there's also right next to him a guy that's saying that Europe is totally fine. So it's like,
oh yeah, no, you're right.
Adds to the chaos and not knowing, I guess. But yeah, I mean, if they did that, if they said that, and they didn't have the thing, I mean, I think it was meant to be contradictory, to not give you anything.
That's true. So in that way, the film does actually do that. You're right. Still don't know if I needed the clunky dialogue to sort of explain it, but yeah, no, you're right. The mystery is still present.
Can we just hold in the airplane for a second, because I mean, like,
Sure.
if an airplane lands on your fucking house, you're not surviving in the basement, you know?
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
Like, it's just unnecessary tension, and like you said, it's just to dump more exposition on us, and like, it's just another thing that drags the movie down.
It just felt, I didn't dislike the plane thing itself. It just felt like kind of random. Like it could have been a bigger set piece like the boat, but it's sort of just, oh, by the way, there's a crashed plane out the front of your house. Let's move on, sort of thing. Like,
I've been to that plane in Universal, whatever. Wait, no.
Oh,
I can't remember, but it's like a famous. What's the fucking place called in Los Angeles?
Oh. Can you cut out my little yawn if you can hear that? Because that was kind of shit.
You know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to insert it multiple times in the episode. I'm going to be like...
Make it the transition sound.
Transition sounds really good. I was thinking, like, when we get to news chat, when I asked Jan, so Jan, what do you think about this crazy trailer we saw? And I just inserted it right there.
Yeah.
Either either's fine. Maybe both. All right, let's get into the second half that apparently none of us like. So,
sorry. Just 1 second. There's really shit foreshadowing at the start of the film when she gets a splinter in her hand, and she's like, "When it's ready, my body will just push it out." Oh, fucking yeah. But other than that, yeah.
Wait, what? What's that foreshadow?
Because like when the Earth is ready to get rid of the aliens, it's a natural thing that pushes them out.
Wow. Okay. Nah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this 5D levels of thinking that you have to pick up on. So
the fact that I didn't get it, I don't know if that's a compliment to it or not. Probably is, honestly. Let's go into Tim Robbins. Let's dive into his basement, his bunker. All right. So when he was in this movie, I was like, "What? Tim Robbins is in this movie?" It was very random because there's like no sort of introduction to him. It's just like, "Yo, come into my bunker quick," and I'm like, "Okay." And then we're there, and
why are they the only ones that run into his bunker as well, though? I mean, there's so many people running past it. But I guess.
It was a weird shot. That's where, it wasn't a situation. It wasn't clearly blocked in a way that made sense to why they heard him over anyone else. You know what I mean? It was weird. Anyway, Tim Robbins is there, and this is the part where the movie bores me to tears, and I think I stopped paying attention a little bit. I don't know. Like, I don't even honestly know exactly what happened in here. I know I looked up at some point, and there was a snake, like alien thing. And then, did Tim Robbins die? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom killed him.
Oh, okay. I missed a ton of this, to be honest. He started boring me to tears with his dialogue. I don't even know what he was saying. This felt super off. I don't know.
I mean, it slowed down the momentum of the film entirely because you have these massive, fights with the aliens that are like elevating. You have the boat scene, and then you have the thing with the fighter jets, and then you have Tim Robbins' basement. So it's kind of like, what is the transition? And I mean, the actual content is like, Tim Robbins being angry and them trying to hide an alien and looking at the alien, and it's not very interesting. It's really doesn't match with the pace of the rest of the film.
And also his change of heart when he goes to like hack off the snake thing, but then Tom Cruise is like, "Yeah, nah." So he's like, "Oh yeah, all right, nah," because he was so hell bent on like harming him and getting back, and then just like he looks at Tom Cruise's face and is like, "All right, I'll restrain." Like it's not a big thing, but it's just another character choice that kind of annoyed me.
Sure. I feel like we spend 25 minutes in this basement, and then eventually, like Tom Cruise walks outside, and there's a tripod there, and he gets picked up by it, and then they throw a grenade in it. It just felt like a weird side quest thing to me. I don't know if it added to the film thematically in a way that I didn't understand, but I didn't really get anything out of this,
Yeah.
Other than the cool blood on the ground.
Right, yeah.
Like the blood isn't like it's not just like it's the red weed. Like the red weed is what in the book they say gives Mars its color. So like that was like the aliens trying to, like make like they're trying to terraform thing, and I just so like that was it was more.
So it wasn't even blood, or is it made out of blood?
No, like it seems like the movie implies it was made out of blood. I'm not sure. I can't remember if that was.
Oh, that's neat.
But like it's more than just blood. It's actually like them trying to terraform and colonize. there you go, colonized
Sure.
the invasion literature. There you go. There's a connection.
So they're Martians, are they?
Yeah, they're Martians.
Oh, sick. Okay. Didn't even know that. Cool.
I'm pretty sure it explicitly tells you at the start of the film.
Does it?
Yeah.
They say they're from Mars?
I'm pretty sure it tells you that they're observing us from the Martian surface.
Oh, okay. Missed it if they said that. Pretty standard for your boy. And then what happens? They just kind of walk through Boston. They sort of just waltz through Boston. At this point, we think the son is dead. I would have preferred if he'd stay dead for sure. I think that's pretty hard to argue. But then, yeah, they walk through Boston. All the aliens start dying because of the bacteria thing, and then they turn up at the ex-wife's house. I was like, cool. They seem to be pretty safe in there. They seem to be pretty chill in there, to be honest. Dude, in Alien Invasion, I want to go to their place. They didn't evacuate. Their entire city's but half destroyed, and they're just like, yo, our house is sick. We're making meals here, you know what I mean? We got movie nights. That's where I want to be.
It was really dumb how the kid was. He was like still dirty, and they're all clean. So if they like left him out in the showers or something.
I just got there 5 minutes before Tom Cruise did.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole family seems so, and then there's the grandparents there too. They seem so unaffected by everything that this movie. If this movie is meant to be some sort of terrorist, you know what I mean? Well, if it's meant to be some sort of parallel to a terrorist attack, the world has just been dismantled before our very eyes. A traumatic experience. So these people just walk out of the house yo, today's Sunday. What's going on out here? Oh shit, is that an alien?
Yeah, didn't the film state the cost of the invasion was $1 billion lives, and they're just hard chilling.
Yeah.
It's like Unbreakable.
I don't know.
They don't know they're Superman, superheroes.
This is also in that M. Night Shyamalan universe. Crazy. So yeah, and anyway, that like Fitzy said, the son's alive still. He didn't die. He ran over there. So what do we think happened to him? He ran over the hill.
It's dumb because there's a massive explosion. It doesn't make any sense.
So he just didn't. Yeah, I'm trying to rationalize it. There's nothing. He just wasn't hit by the explosion, and the aliens just chose to ignore him, and then
there's nothing.
He just ran back to Boston. Yeah.
After he crosses the peak, he decides against it and he tries to go back to Tom Cruise, but he's already gone.
He's already in Tim Roberts' basement.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then the movie ends. I was just in these final moments. I think the film is going for something that's sort of meant to be, relieving, like a tension release for the audience of yo, the family's safe now. Thank Christ, kind of a moment. And I guess that's what it is. I don't know what the hell else it would be. It just sort of fell flat for me. I didn't give a shit, I wish Tom Cruise was still a dickhead, and I would care a bit more. That would be bad character development, but I would still care a bit more,
Mm.
We sort of actually somewhat went through the movie chronologically, which was fine.
It's first for us.
Quite enjoyed that, yeah.
We have a habit of starting at the end.
Oh, we did too, yeah.
No, I don't think we did today, but I think just in general.
Oh yeah, in general.
No, we do in general, but we did today too. I mean,
we talked about the ending
narration immediately. Yeah,
about the cop out or the flu.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Let me hit you with some trivia. The crew started filming only 7 months prior to its release. In order to finish all 500 plus CGI effects, Steven Spielberg did all the big action scenes in the early stages of shooting. Does this trivia ring a bell?
Because of Munich, did they do something similar? I can't recall.
Munich was exactly. I feel like I read the exact same thing. Spielberg just wanting to pump out movies like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, I think there was another year he did 2 big films.
I'll add a thing that my one positive of the film is that the aliens make a pretty cool sound. I appreciated that, and it's about the end of the praise.
Oh yeah, the sounds in this film are really great. I mean, the laser sound is really great.
I didn't like the laser because, in the original novel, it's described as a heat ray, and I guess in this it's kind of the same, where it kind of just evaporates people, but it didn't look like a heat ray. It looked like some other sci-fi shit, and I was really keen. I really want to see that a proper heat ray in action. But I know it's a small pick again, but And, I guess if you make it a contemporary adaptation, you don't have to adhere to the original thing, and whatever, but, would have been something I appreciated.
All right, more trivia. After her actions in this film, Dakota Fanning's character was voted, quote, most useless thing to have in an apocalypse by MTV. I thought trivia, I thought that was pretty funny, to be totally honest.
Dakota Fanning is a thing to have in the apocalypse, right?
Yeah, but she is, of course, an object.
Oh, is that getting sexist again?
No, shit. Great. Final verdicts for War of the Worlds. Jaden.
4 out of 10 for me. That's what I had it as previously, and I think when I was rewatching it, I was thinking maybe a 5, just because it wasn't horrendous, but it was an average of fair. But I think after chatting about it, I had a fair bit to complain about, so I think that can warrant a 4.
Yeah, I'm sort of torn the exact same way you are. The final half brought me to tears. I have a lot of complaints, but shit, whatever. Pick one. 5. I pick 5. It's done. Fitzy won me over a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit. But what about you, Liam?
6 out of 10. I think the first half is really great. Second half definitely slows it down, but I don't think it was slows it down to the point where it makes it a terrible movie. I mean, the blood stuff is still good in the second half, and overall, I just think it's effective for what it is generally. So, yeah, 6 out of 10.
It is time now, ladies and gentlemen, for prestigious, the most beloved segment in the history of podcasts, News Chat. News that broke, I think, just after we finished recording last week, or maybe the next day, but pretty close to it, was the final confirmation of everything to do with Zack Snyder's Justice League, and that is the fact that it has a release date of March 18th, not far away at all, and the confirmation that it is actually 1 4-hour movie. The whole TV miniseries idea was apparently dropped. It is a single 4-hour film, and it's coming, baby. It's coming. I honestly am very excited for this movie. I can't believe it. I genuinely am. I hope to God it pops up on the Foxtel. I think it will. We haven't got a confirmation yet, but logic would dictate that. And I'm very excited to watch it, honestly.
You are? There's
Yeah,
there's
100%.
a whole arc, Zach. Went from completely disinterested to
Yeah, no, you're not wrong about that. I think the trailer was pretty bad, as we've covered before. But I'm very curious about this movie. I feel like it could be a total mess. Just constantly when we hear about all these news updates of just every week for a while, there was a new character being announced for it. Oh, what's his face? Jared Leto's Joker's in it, and Deathstroke's in it, and just everyone and their mum's in this movie. I just feel like it's going to be a total, clusterfuck of scenes and characters, but I feel like I might enjoy it too. I don't know.
I mean, it's just going to be a bigger version of Watchmen, is it not?
What makes you say that?
Because doesn't Watchmen have a similar thing where it's just too much? I can't really remember. Isn't it way too many characters and just kind of cuts between everything? I just remember feeling really not confused but disorientated. I guess kind of watching Watchmen because it kind of felt like it was a lot to take in. And I mean, it was 2.5 hours. And it was just so much going on. I felt like it, and especially there was cutting between past and yeah. Don't worry.
Well, no, there was a lot going on in that movie. I don't think it had. I don't remember thinking it had too many characters. I didn't really like it very much, but yeah. No, I see what you mean. I just think because at the end of the day, this film is still going to be people expecting a totally different story are going to be disappointed. It's going to be the same base ground line of what we got in terms of the plot and everything, just with more characters, more scenes, reworked moments, that kind of thing. And I don't know. I feel like it could be a mess, but it could be good. I don't know. Either way, I feel like I'm going to be entertained is the bottom line of this.
So is there anything that Joss Whedon shot remaining in this one, or is that all gone?
Absolutely nothing.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be friggin' long, hey? That honestly might be the longest movie I'm ever going to watch. It's wild. It's wild. Dude, I'm going to watch that. That's going to be the longest movie I've ever seen, and hope to God I don't see one longer.
You don't want to watch the 8-hour War and Peace movie that was made in the 60s?
Absolutely not. No. All right, we got a Cloverfield sequel in the works. The whole thing of the original Cloverfield, if you are aware, is that it's a monster movie that's comprised of found footage. Is it found footage entirely, Jaden?
Yeah.
Cool. I haven't seen it, but I'm interested. This sequel thing to it, because this franchise has been ticking along, but no found footage, focusing on the first movie, and we got a director of a Netflix show. You're right, is that right, Jaden?
That movie.
That you like, yes.
The Ritual. I can't recall his name. I think it might have been Joe. I just had it before, but it's gone. But yeah, he did a pretty good job with that. So yeah, I'm keen for this.
Is there any sort of overlap you can see between that and in terms of what that movie is to being a Cloverfield movie, if it fits at all?
In the Cloverfield paradox, are we? Wait, did you watch that? You didn't, did you?
No.
Ah, shit! I was going to ask.
It was bad. It didn't.
Because I think in that it might show us a bit of the monster, and like I'm just trying to think if it, because I think the Cloverfield paradox and Cloverfield might occur at the same time, maybe, or parts of it might, and like I'm just trying to think where it goes, where it'd continue from there.
I just like 10 Cloverfield Lane a lot.
Yeah, that's the best one in the series.
Oh, cool! Yeah, I love that movie. That's my only connection here. But finally, we have a potentially leaked report of the Matrix 4 title, and it is apparently called The Matrix Resurrections, which is great. I messaged you boys earlier in the week because this is 100%. I don't know who it was. It might have been me. I don't 100% know. I'm not going to proclaim that in case I'm wrong. But one of us definitely said The Matrix Resurrection without the S. So basically, this is just an excuse to say the Cinema Effect podcast is where you can come to get all your breaking news way before any of it is confirmed because we're psychics and we nailed the title. Not that it's that hard to guess.
I mean, I think we guessed like 30 different like rebuild or revolutionize or whatever.
Yeah, no.
I mean, like I think we had a pretty good chance of like shooting. I mean, like
you're absolutely right, but I was you kind of burst the bubble. I was sort of trying to give us a bit of street cred there. But
yeah, apologies. You can just cut that out.
Yeah, I will cut that out. Yeah. So no one has to know that it was an easy guess because obviously they're all R words, but they're actually all RE words specifically too. Like, God, there wasn't a lot of choice there, was there? All right, that's it for news chat. Highlights of the week. Fitzy, what have you been watching?
Highlight was probably Metropolitan, which is just this satire kind of film, very dialogue, and character heavy. And it's kind of just about these very kind of privileged people who it's a satire, but it's kind of very sincere as well. It kind of really focuses on the characters. It's kind of warm film and not much happening really, not much plot or not much. It's just basically conversations pretty much, and it's really sharply written, good dialogue. Yeah, that's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to talk about it.
Cool. Sorry, am I correct in saying that you said that the movie's sort of just a conversation? Is that what you said?
It's like a bunch of conversations. Yeah, I mean it's just like pure dialogue, and that's what it is. Just pure dialogue the whole time. Yeah.
Anyways, what have I been watching? I've got, shout out to WandaVision last night, pretty sick. But we've also got Your Honor. Have you guys heard of this? It's this Showtime series with Bryan Cranston. Yeah,
we heard of it.
Bryan Cranston, I'm convinced. We had a question of the show a couple months back about our favourite actor, and I think he's my favourite actor. I think that's just a fact for me.
Didn't you say that because of Breaking Bad?
Right. Yeah, I might have done.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just, it's just true. He's sensational, and the premise of the show is really interesting. I don't know if I want to spoil it. I guess it's like the whole first episode, but it's still pretty cool. I won't spoil it, but it's about Bryan Cranston is this judge, and shit goes down in his life, and it's pretty cool. And he's like trying to keep it together. And the whole thing is like, I'm about halfway through it, but the whole thing is that this thing he's trying to keep under wraps is like constantly like just about to be unraveled. Like the whole thing and his entire life is about to be ruined. He's like constantly trying to stay on top of it. It's pretty entertaining like that. And he's got a great performance, and it's a solid cast, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's got some cool kind of social implications as well, I think. But I'm a fan of it. I'll let you know how it all turns out in the end, though, for sure. What about you, Jaden?
I'll talk about rewatching Grand Budapest because I don't think I've mentioned it before. Maybe I have. Who knows? Regardless, it's brilliant. It's one of the best movies of all time. I'll stand by that forever. The dialogue's quippy, the action's fun. It's so brilliant to look at. And like, I know it's something you probably wouldn't like, but like the changing aspect ratios is a cool touch to the film to convey time periods and whatever. It's just such a fun, feel good, warm film, and like it's just utterly brilliant. And I think everything culminates into one of the best viewing experiences with the score and the cinematography and the acting. The acting's so brilliant. Like Ralph, is it Fiennes or Fiennes?
It's actually Rafe Fiennes.
Rafe. I thought it was Ralph.
I know. It's Rafe, and I'm speaking from 100% confidence because I've had this whole crisis before in my life of like, how the hell do you say this person's name? It's Rafe Fiennes.
I thought there was an L there. Okay.
There is. It's silent.
Oh, really?
It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've been through this. It's weird.
Rafe Fiennes is brilliant. And like so is like Tony Ravioli, whatever his name is, and Saoirse, and Mustafi, and they're Alan Mustafa. I can't remember his name, but yeah, like. It's an absolutely brilliant cast, and Wes Anderson's a great director, and Grand Budapest is fantastic, and anyone that hasn't watched it needs to check it out.
That's me. Is it on a streaming service?
I don't know. I watched Blu-ray. Yeah, I don't know.
Shit.
I can lend that to you.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. Hey, I just want to say, Jane, to semi-challenge you, I don't dislike changing aspect ratios at all. I actually love it I love it when it's nailed, when it's done really good. I love that.
Right.
But I often take issue with it not being done well, I think.
Yeah, I feel like just any time you mention it, it's complaining, so I just kind of took that.
It is often, no, you're not wrong. I literally did it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, I'm just going to say Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1 aspect ratio changes. Best I've ever seen. Sensational. Now it's time for our question of the show. Last week we asked you, do you still buy DVDs? And what was the last one you bought? Luke wrote in and said, I don't really buy DVDs anymore. We recently bought Wonder Woman so that we can re-watch it before we swing into Wonder Woman 1984. We bought The Force Awakens when that came out on Blu-ray, which was nice. I do still buy CDs though, but perhaps that doesn't count. It doesn't, but I appreciate you bringing it up, Luke, because it is sort of in the same vein. So thank you very much for that. I must say, so he says they bought Wonder Woman on DVD. So this is where this conversation might go in terms of the DVD versus Blu-ray thing, because like, everyone can play Blu-ray nowadays, right? Am I?
No, there's still like DVD players that don't play Blu-ray and stuff that they still sell.
But people still like get those.
I think it's mainly for primarily older people if you just need like something quick and cheap. Because like you can get a DVD player for like $20 at like Harvey Norman, but you can't get a Blu-ray one for that price.
Yeah, no, sure. Oh, I'm totally disconnected from this, so that's why I'm curious. Andy says, hopefully this response to the question of the week doesn't lead to a lawsuit. Oh no, but yes, I do still buy and collect DVDs, except, guys, this comment's going to take us on a journey, except they're the cheap bootleg ones that you get at Asian stores. Some of them are decent quality, can play HD, and I've been collecting these bootleg pirated DVDs ever since I was a child, and that's where my fascination for Chinese Hong Kong cinema pretty much began. I won't bother mentioning the last DVD I bought recently since there's no point, but yeah, do you guys still respect this idea of selling bootlegs at this day and age? Despite having access to multiple streaming services and all that stuff. Yes, apologies if I forced you guys into another question. No, it's fine, but be intrigued to hear your thoughts. I'm glad you bring this up, Andy, because, I'm glad that this very interesting method of physical media that you're so ingrained in has given you your passion in film. I think that's great. But I have a strong, not as strong as you, it doesn't seem, but I have a connection to bootleg DVDs for sure. I've been to Bali and Thailand way too many times and thus have watched way too many films via this method. And I'm all too accustomed to the whole concept of buying a DVD you're interested in one of these third world countries and praying to the gods that it's not someone who's filmed the screen in a theater, which happens way too much. It's so funny if you go into some of these stores, I'm sure a lot of people have experienced that, like they have DVD players there so you can test the discs, because so often, like, you just, all you have to do is hit play once and you just know immediately, is this what I'm looking for or not? And I love, like, going home and putting in a DVD of, like, I think Kung Fu Panda 2 back in the day. That's probably why I hadn't seen it till recently. Was one of these where I chucked it in and just immediately there's just, like, people standing, on the screen because they're just in a theater. I'm like, oh shit, all right, not watching that. Does this resonate with you guys? Do you guys have experience with bootleg DVDs in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, like going to like a Saturday market or like Laverton market, and like just like
oh yeah,
like getting burnt copies off family friends and stuff like that. Like there's a big part. So yeah, it resonates with me pretty heavily.
The black market.
Yeah, I mean I'm not sure how. I mean, like obviously it is illegal because they tell you very explicitly at the start of legit DVDs, don't rip this off. But like, I mean, like people sell this very openly at markets and like no one gives a shit. So I mean, like,
yeah, I know. What about that? That was always the clip that played, like the fully like Australian government clip that played at the start of all these DVDs with that sick sound that always stuck in my head. What I'm trying to remember it, where it's like, don't pirate DVDs, and the music's like,
isn't that international? Because like I'm pretty sure like Yankees know about that too.
Be. Yeah, you wouldn't steal. Yeah, it's this one. It's
you wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't steal a.
Yeah, that's
it.
Cheers for the soundbite.
Music sticks with me. That always stuck with me for some reason.
Do you remember the I'm pretty sure it was on old videotapes where they have the ad for the rating system, and it's like they show like Toy Story and they show like American Psycho.
Oh,
remember that?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's cool though.
Yeah, okay. Just me.
We're going off the rails. What the hell? DVDs for us. Do we still buy DVDs? I mean, I can't remember the last time I bought a DVD. Probably over a decade ago. Blu-rays, I buy every Star Wars Blu-ray, of course, because I'm a nerd, and I got Tenet on Blu-ray recently. That's fun. But I don't have a lot of Blu-rays other than that. I think I've got like Skyfall and I don't know, some other Nolan movie probably. Oh, Interstellar, that's what I was thinking of. So I've got like 5 Blu-rays maybe, but not a lot going on there in my department, to be honest. But I think you guys beat me for sure.
Well, I don't really have many Blu-rays. I mean, I have about 20 maybe, including her, but DVDs, yeah, I don't really get DVDs, but recently I have bought a lot of DVDs from eBay because there's this South Korean seller who has got some really cheap DVDs at the moment, and all of the covers are South Korean, but they're English films, and the covers just look really great. So I'm gonna make a little collection of just normal films that have South Korean covers.
That's such a random collection idea. I like it a lot though. Is delivery an issue?
Oh, it takes ages.
Is that expensive?
Yeah. It's not expensive, but it takes months. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, that sucks.
But I mean, like 4 months.
That's nuts.
It's really impacted by the COVID as well, though.
Yeah, Corona.
Because I know Oz Pros was struggling for ages with coping with the sheer amount of deliveries and shit.
But I want to see this collection evolve, Fitzy. I want to see it in whatever form. I need to see photos. I need to see something. But what about you, Jaden?
I mean, like, you do know that, like, I'm an absolute fiend for physical media. You know, I think physical media will always be king. I love it. I love tangible products. So, like, yeah, like, you know, I buy Blu-rays and like DVDs, and you know, like quite often. To answer the second part of the question of what was the most recent one, I think it was No Way to Treat a Lady, which is just a from the imprint collection. Yeah, like no, I proper love like physical media, and I consume all the time.
Well, I hope for your sake that it holds on a little longer, you know? I mean, it is. It's found its place, I think. I don't know what the point in demolishing Blu-rays would be now. With streaming is what it is, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how much more the you know, like, in terms of like streaming versus physical, you know, I don't know how much more that's going to evolve to the point where, like, will they eradicate?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, game companies are trying their best with releasing digital-only consoles, which sucks, but, you know.
But at least there's a choice for now.
Mm.
For now. There probably won't be for much longer. All right. Well, I really enjoyed this episode, guys. I don't know.
Yeah, a bit of fun.
I feel like, yeah, I had a lot of fun. I feel like there's a chance it's not good, you know? I feel like it might be our worst episode, you know? But I don't care. I had a fun time. It was a weird one, but it was good.
I think we discussed the movie pretty well. I mean, we talked about a lot about other things. So.
No, 100%. Well, but that's the end of our time here this week. Fitzy, what are we tuning into next week?
Malcolm and Marie, a Netflix film, released last Friday at 8 p.m. as Netflix always does, and yeah, just a new film starring Zendaya and John David Washington about the relationship between a filmmaker and his significant other. Don't really know much about it other than that, so yeah, looking forward to it.
Now it is black and white, isn't it?
Yeah. So you'll hate it.
We're gonna have an issue. We're gonna have a problem, guys. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me this week, everyone. We all appreciate everyone else in the wider universe tuning in. Those sub counts, like I mentioned, they keep going up, so it's exciting. We appreciate more of you jumping in on the show. But anyway, we'll see you all next week. Please have a great rest of your week. Take care and goodbye.